Hi, everybody. How you doing? Because I guarantee you are better than this poor sucker here. Because we're starting a new segment here. I say we do about one of these a month. Sound good? We're doing Bad Movie Night here on Ninja Mafia Entertainment. And we kicked it off with a good one.
I hate you so much.
We started with a movie. Most people look to stuff like The Room, Birdemic for bad movies. And those are bad movies. Chips is a really bad movie. That's a more modern variant, but I was going for a more indie feel, more of that inexperienced, unknowing schlock that gets made. I decided to skip all that and just careen us straight into bad territory, like shockless and all, bouncing all the hell over the road, with Neil Breen's Double Down. One of the strangest movies, and that's being generous.
I just don't know what was going on.
No one does. Okay, let's go through and I'll quiz you on some things. Okay, we'll quiz you on some things. How many medals does he have?
You're like.
The correct answer is all the medals. He has all the medals. How many satellites does he have, Jared? How does he access them?
The microbrain chip. I don't know.
How does he use them, Jared? What does he hook them up to?
His brain.
Does he hook them up to his laptops? Are the laptops working? What does he live on? What does he eat?
Tuna and water.
He's tuna and water.
This movie was so goddamn awful.
Do you see his ball sack?
Yes. Yes.
Do you see his asshole and ball sack? Quite prominently.
I will never complain about Scott Speedman's ass in Underworld ever again.
That's what this movie does. If you ever think you have seen a worse movie,
you haven't.
You haven't. You just
really
haven't. You don't understand unless you've seen this.
I'm gonna
How
go
wildly insane everything is that passes through Neil Breen's mind, and I don't know because I've seen Fateful Findings, and there's only one other he's released so far that I have yet seen. It's called I Am Hereellipsis Now, and apparently he's some kind of alien space Jesus that comes down to Earth and starts to judge mankind. Except all he finds are like super stereotypical caricatures of like mean and bad people. Like the only people living in the hood are like gangbangers, and poor people are all willing to stop and laugh at the disabled, like the mom whose only resort is to become a stripper. And I don't know.
Better than this piece of shit.
It's not. All his movies are insane. Like, crazy people are sitting there looking at going, I don't, what? I hallucinated that I saw a tuna fish floating through the sky and swallow the sun, and you, sir, don't make sense. And
I'm gonna go on record and say this now, so, surprise! We shot our own TV show! And I'm a better director, producer.
Yeah, that's how it starts out.
Imaginary rock, like our script was.
Does your story have a cancer-curing rock that doesn't actually cure cancer that was given to you by a not terrorist out in the middle of nowhere?
No, I hunt for a devil that turns out to be a shapeshifter.
Well, there you go. Congratulations, you've spoiled your own show, and you aren't as creative as Neil Breen, who hacks into a Ferrari with a broken cell phone. It's not even like a touchscreen, it's a little flip phone that doesn't have any kind of that connectivity, and he hacks into like I want to say it's a 1990s model Ferrari. I
That
want to
he
say it's an
has
F40. I could be wrong.
That he has the keys to? That you clearly see the keys
Yeah, you clearly
to?
see him start it up once he's inside. Maybe I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the keys were like under the seat or something. I don't know.
Because that's what all Ferrari dealerships do.
Of course. Of course. So, Neil, let's try and... I know this is going to be a foreign concept with Neil Breen, but let's try and condense this to a cohesive story idea. Neil Breen plays...
Smoked a lot of crack cocaine.
He did do this.
And
he wrote a story in which he is a former government agent that is now on the run. I'm trying to remember all this.
But he still works
with
government.
the government, but he's planning
also for
biological bombs in all the major cities.
There's a death cloak.
He wants out of it, but he's got this death cloak force field that makes him invisible to the radar and field.
And
but people walk into it and they have their brains explode or whatever.
And he's the $6 million man.
And he's been cybernetically enhanced. And he sees his dead wife, girlfriend, and his younger self, and her younger self, and his dead parents, and he poisons fish. I know this sounds like we're all over the place, but I swear to God, this is how it happens, guys.
And there's a person with shoes that we never see.
There's somebody with shoes and slacks that walk around, and he wakes up after passing out next to his car with blood smeared across the car, and "Help me" also written in blood.
I'd like to see Rick and Morty make fun of this.
I don't think they're good.
Like, the whole time, like, when I kept saying "help me," I was like, this is not a dance. This is a cry for help. I'm begging for help. I'm crying for help.
I don't think you could. I honestly think this is almost unriffable in the most traditional of senses. Because
if it comes between...
There's so much that doesn't make sense. It's just... It's sense overload.
Everything doesn't make
And you're just left with this burning question of, where do I start? Where do I end? What can I say that is going to make this any stranger? Nothing is the answer.
If it's between me and Neil Breen for the Oscar, guess who's winning an Oscar this year?
DiCaprio will win an Oscar again before you do. I'm just going to say that.
No, I'm saying if it's between me and Neil Breen, though.
If that's the case, then you are the only two people left on the face of the planet.
Exactly, and Jared Brown just won the Oscar.
Maybe because Neil Breen's not going to believe in voting.
Well, Jared Brown shot his movie with his cell phone and still was better than Neil Breen.
Well, let me state this, as awful as this movie is, and it's fucking awful. I honestly admire him. I mean, this man proves anyone can do this. I mean, he is literally a testament to the idea that if you have a dream, you can make it happen. No matter how ridiculous, absurd, and poorly planned, if you have enough force of will, you can make your idea come to fruition.
I mean, on paper.
And, well, I'm sure on paper it'd look good.
But then you get into the editing. Paper and in a pitch movie, all he would have had to give is like, I'm a secret agent that has superpowers that is trying to save the world from terrorists.
Yeah.
That's a great movie pitch.
It is. You can do something with that. The problem is, he's insane. And he doesn't know how to edit.
No. Like the whole time, I was asking Sean, I was like, are we watching like a bad cut?
No,
like,
it's not. It's not.
This needs to be edited. Like, I've seen...
That's the thing. It's not.
I've seen
this is all him.
I saw the same scene like 800 goddamn times. Like, parkour!
Yeah. He has to parkour through the mountains of the desert.
It's the same fucking mountain every goddamn time. 30 times.
Jared thought he had seen bad movies. He didn't know what a bad movie was until today. Now you know. Now you know the hell that people like me go through to understand what a bad movie truly is. And, like I say, as fucked up as this movie is, as off-the-wall, batshit insane, I honestly admire him for having the balls to say, I'm not going to change it, which I'm sure there were a lot of people who would have come up and said, Neil, none of this makes any fucking sense. You have to change this. And he's like, no, we're not going to change it. This is the way I want to make a movie, so I'm going to make a movie this way. And so I was like, I really admire him if that was what happened for you. If it's not, please feel free to correct me. I mean, he may just be a complete, total, self-centered asshole, but I honestly think that this was one man's vision of what he wanted to do, and he did it. And he pushed it through and pushed it forward because it's written, produced, edited, directed, starring. I expected the wall of credits at the end to just be lighting, Neil Breen, makeup, Neil Breen, Mr. Breen's assistants, Neil Breen.
There was no lighting.
There was no lighting. There comes a credit where it's lighting. None. Hair and makeup. None.
That was very obvious.
And I honestly, I don't want him to stop making movies.
I do.
I don't. Because when people like this stop making movies, that means nobody's trying anymore. Because as crap your own pants crazy as he probably is, and this movie definitely is, it's a movie that was made by somebody who wanted to make a movie.
So
this was not a movie made by committee.
So you're saying we should aspire to be like and better than Neil Breen?
Yes. Even if you consider this a bad example for how to do your stuff,
it's
a bad example is still an example you can learn from. And you can learn how not to make a movie from Double Down.
Good.
And
I know what I'm not going to do next. I got to shoot episode 2 in like a week.
You mean you're not going to wear rubber gloves in the middle of everything and rub anthrax on a dude's arm as you walk down the street?
Or randomly inject things in my arm and other people's arm and a strawberry.
And have a dude with a really see-through mustache and beard, and then rip that mustache and beard off that apparently fooled everyone.
Yep.
He paralyzes a terrorist in his Ferrari that he's stolen, and while he's sitting there unconscious, it looks like something from like Police Squad. He just reaches over and he's like, "Who's this?" And he reaches over and takes off his mustache and beard like, "Oh my god, it's him! Bro, guys!" It's like, "Don't! I've tranquilized him."
God damn it, Neil Breen.
I don't understand. But it's so much fun.
He apologized at the end, I think. He's like, "I'm sorry, it had to be this way." And I was like,
yeah, at the end of the movie, he's like, "I'm sorry, it had to be this way." I looked over at Jerry, I was like, I don't think he's actually dialoguing. I think this is an apology to the audience.
I wonder what the red carpet premiere of this, like, for whatever...
Oh, there was no red carpet premiere.
Oh.
Do you know how these are shipped?
No, I guarantee
No.
he rented a theater to show this to his friends.
Maybe, but I don't think so. You want to know how these DVDs are shipped out?
Wow.
He burns you a copy. Writes the title of the film on the DVD, puts it in a clamshell, and sends it to you. Like a CD see-through case clamshell.
You're shitting me.
No. I am not. I want to say some people have like DVD boxes. I think he like upgraded to those later. But there are some people who said that they got this in a clamshell, and you can only order them through his website. I was lucky and knew a guy, and he let me borrow his. And so that's how you get them. They are personally made by Neil Breen and sent to you. Now, again, that is the story that I got. I'm not saying it's true. I hope it is. I hope beyond hope that that is the true.
No, because this thing went on Netflix because I Googled it. That's what it got national attention, is it was on.
I'm not surprised. I mean, he probably would allow his stuff to be seen on Netflix and stuff. But, again, I don't understand. Neil Breen is a strange creature, man. And I hope he never stops making movies.
And I hope you go watch Supernatural Seekers episode 1. I'm plugging myself.
Way to make this about you, Jared. We're trying to celebrate bad movies and celebrate Neil Breen. And you had to make it about you.
My mind's warped from this thing, so...
Well, that's kind of the thing. Most people, I think most people are going to be able to look back and they'll have, like, Troll 2 will obviously stand the test of time.
Before this, the worst movie I'd ever seen.
What's the one?
Chips.
No, it's an older movie. The Garbage Day. No, it's not the name of the movie. It's the line. The guy walks up. It's a Christmas horror movie. It's like Santa Slays or something. I forget. And he walks out and is like, "Hey, you got your trash? It's Garbage Day." He looks like, "Garbage Day!" Pulls out the gun and shoots him. I may be misremembering that horribly. All I remember is Garbage Day. It's been forever since I've seen that movie. I mean, literally forever. I think I first saw that when I was like 9. It's a treasure. But there will always be movies like that. And I hope Neil Breen movies are classified like that. And they enter the cultural zeitgeist memory as things that you just have to see and experience. Jared will put a link down or put a little phrase down that'll say what the hell I'm thinking about. I'll give it to him later. And I hope that these enter the cultural mindset as stuff like that you have to experience, and you just kind of have to see in order to understand what the hell is happening and why people talk about them. Because
I don't know if I would want anybody to suffer like that, though.
Well, that's kind of the thing.
I suffered for an hour and 38 minutes, Sean.
I wouldn't call this suffering, though. It's bad.
It's so
bad. It makes no sense. But at no point am I bored.
I was confused.
At no point did I look at this and go, I wonder how many suits and executives sat there and said, put this in. This will test well with people.
None of them.
No, none of them did. And like I say, that's kind of the thing I love about this man, is he doesn't make movies because it's a job.
No, he's a contractor.
That's just it. He makes movies because he wants to make movies. He doesn't do it well. It's obviously not like something that would be a professional quality or be released in theaters, but it's not something that he did because he needed a paycheck. This is something that he did basically for the love of cinema. And again, whether or not he's any good, you can debate that all goddamn day. But the one thing that is completely and totally not debatable is the fact that he likes movies. Clearly, he has a love of movies. He understands the terms of everything. I mean, he understands the story. loosely.
I was about to say.
He understands editing. I mean, this wasn't a one-take, one-shot movie. It was chopped up all over the place, but that's editing-ish. He understands the necessity for ADRing. He understands the necessity of tracking shots and crane shots and all that. And sure, he used stock footage for a lot of it. He used stuff that he could get a hold of. I'm not blaming this man for making an awful movie. A company that... Chips is a really great example. You brought it up. Chips is a movie I think of where I want nothing to be remembered about that movie. That was a movie that was made specifically as a cash cow, and it's like, we'll get this person and this script that's been languishing in development hell for years. Yeah, we'll put that on there, and we'll just throw in some really shitty jokes that are going to be dated, and nobody will laugh at them. And we'll make our money back, like, in a weekend, and nobody will ever talk about this again.
Well, I don't think they made their money back.
I hope not, but that was the mindset behind Ships. Baywatch too, but that's another story. And,
God damn you, Hasselhoff, and your popularity in Germany.
But that is not this. This is somebody who I'm pretty sure just basically did this out of pocket. Made what he could with what he could. I mean, I've seen way worse. At least everybody sort of sounds like they're giving a shit. I mean, you've seen the movies where they get the person who comes in and is like, yes, this is the thing that we are doing. And they sound really stiff and robotic. Even, like, the worst extra in this movie sounds and looks way better than Rod from Birdemic.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, there's movie number 2 for Bad Movie Night. That's next month. Just be glad that I don't make you watch Birdemic 2, because that one makes even less sense.
No,
which is hard, because Birdemic 1 doesn't make any fucking sense at all. And Birdemic 2 makes even less! But, yeah, long story short, Neil Breen makes movies to make a movie. He doesn't make it because a studio executive came to him and said, look, I'm going to give you X amount of money
God damn it.
to put this out. What?
It made its money back.
What?
Just,
Fuck! See?
It made $1.7 million more than it took to make it.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It made its money back. They're probably not going to do any more because that's not a big enough budget for them to actually say, yes, do another, but...
Please, dear God, no.
But that's what I'm talking about. That was done just so they could get it done and out, and they wouldn't have it on the table anymore. Neil Breen makes movies because Neil Breen wants to make a movie. And again, it's edited horribly, it's acted horribly, it's shot horribly.
Neil Breen, can I get up in on your editing team?
But,
I'm actually pretty good at it.
Well, it's him. He's his editing team.
Hey, Neil Breen.
No, he doesn't want to work with you. Neil Breen only works with Neil Breen. Don't do that. Neil Breen's the only one who gives Neil Breen the finger. But he makes a movie because he wants to make a movie. Whether it's good or not, always is subjective. But you will never see it done in a way that is anybody else's idea of what should have happened. I know that didn't make a whole lot of sense, probably, but it's really refreshing to see even an awful movie made with sincerity.
I see what you're talking about.
Nothing in this was cynical. You didn't have any stupid pop songs playing in the background. You didn't have
No, because Neil Breen did all the music.
He did all the music. You didn't have any stupid forced environmentalism messages being pumped in from one side or another. You didn't.
I don't think
you did anyway. He poisoned a lake full of fish, so I don't think so. But
don't forget his magical cancer.
Yeah, his magic cancer curing rock that he got from the not terrorist in the middle of the desert before he tripped and hit his head.
And then he wasn't dead at the end. And no, what was that?
I was just saying how good it was to have somebody making movies for making movies' sake, but then you remind me of Neil Breen's actual movie making. This movie, I would honestly say track down a copy of this if you can and watch Double Down. It is the magnum opus of stupid.
I'm scarred for life.
It will honestly change you. If you've never seen it, it will change the way you think of movies and how you define a bad movie, especially.
I thought I knew bad, but God, I didn't know bad.
Exactly. It's an entire next level of what the fuckery.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And
the best way I can say to explain it is to Google up Red Letter Media's Rich Evans Explains Double Down, because this is the most cohesive version you will ever find. Because we can't even talk about what the fuck was going on.
And we just watched it.
And we just watched it. And again, I can't hate it.
I thought it was like taking place in parallel universes all at the same time.
It's entirely possible.
That's my guess.
But
because I know he's into shit like that. I googled Neil Breen. I know he's into shit.
Oh, he's insane.
Yeah.
Neil Breen is insane. Which is reflected in his movies.
Yep.
Which, again, brings me back to my point. I like that he makes movies because he wants to make a movie. I mean, he's
not good at it, but
he's not good, but you know what? That's okay. A lot of people aren't good at what they love. They do it for the love of it. And Neil Breen very clearly has a love of making movies.
Yep.
No, he's not great. I really can't say anything beyond that because I would never want to see him helm... No, that's not true. I'd actually love to see him helm a multi-million-dollar movie just to see what in the hell happens with that when you give this man a budget.
Think of that. Why not?
But if you can track down a copy of Double Down, if you can't find that, I can personally recommend you Fateful Findings. And I have heard I Am Here Now is, excuse me, really weird. From what I've seen, it's fucking insane.
Well,
and supposedly he was working on a fourth movie.
Yeah, released in 2018.
I eagerly await your next film excursion, Neil Breen. And I want to see what you do next.
Alright, well, I guess until Sean makes me sit through another bad movie, we will see you guys next time.
You will learn what it is to have a bad movie forced upon you, my young apprentice.
God, he's
soon you will learn the ways of dark filmmaking.
Alright guys, we'll see you later. Say bye in your evil emperor voice.
Goodbye, people.